everyone, and welcome back to the channel that knows nothing. I am Jem, and let's get to it. So today, I thought we'd do something fun, because quite literally none of this stuff that I've done during uni is ever going to see the light of day, ever. But I thought it would be fun to kind of show you what I did by going through some of my old assignments. So this is like going in alphabetical order on my like massive freaking like hard drive I have of all the stories and stuff we did during uni. This is actually one of the assignments. It's called Assignment 1, Genre Writing Science Fiction. So I think this is the first assignment that we did for this class called Genre Writing or Writing Genre, that sort of thing. So we could pretty much, pick any genre we wanted to write in. It could be whatever. And then this is just kind of like the basic things we had to do, setting up a story for the assignment and sort of doing like a little blurb for it. And so I thought I would take you through it and like my thinking, my thinking mind. That is English, isn't it? What my mind was thinking when I thought of this idea. I had never written anything science fiction at this point, which is why I chose science fiction. Like I'm very comfortable in fantasy and contemporary, but I'd never written anything in space, and so I thought it would be interesting to challenge myself. So it is very heavily based. This is like second year of uni, and I was still like obsessed with the 100, and so it was very much like how the commanders in the 100 have black blood. It was very much me kind of copying that, as you can probably see from like these 3 laws we had to abide by. So the first thing is decide if you were going to be working in. That is not English, and that's not even me. This is me copying from the Word document they did. Decide if you are going to be working in. I think it's probably decide what world you're going to be working in. It's like the world in which the story will take place is a possible world, and that is science fiction. So I think you could do contemporary, but of like a lot of my friends and myself decide to write in possible worlds, so things that aren't real. 2. What are the 3 rules that will be governed the way of life is lived by those who inhabit your world? What are the 3 rules that will govern the way... Oh, God. When I first read that, it did not make any sense. I don't know, guys. I've been up since 3 a.m. Outline the rules in order of priority. No need to elaborate on them at this point. So it's kind of like... One of my friends, for example, said in her world, the cats weren't... the cats didn't have to follow the laws of gravity, is one of her rules. So mine is... The first of my 3 laws is the reds. People with common red blood are not seen as highly as silvers. People with a rare type of dark silver blood. So very much like the commanders in the 100, that is like my rule. And it's like, in my world, it was like a thing that was discriminated against. Like if you had red blood, you were fucking a common and basic bitch. You were never going to succeed in anything that you wanted to. They were very like lower class in my story. 2, one must have the blood of a silver to be able to attend the Battlestar Academy. So it was kind of like a mixture of the 100 and Ender's Game a little bit, where they are trained to become elite commanders of battleships. 3, any person found disguising as one who has the blood of a silver will be executed, no exceptions or no trial. So it's very much like, they have this high tier thing. I really enjoyed writing it. I low-key want to go back and rewrite it because it's probably awful because we haven't even gotten to the point where things are happening yet. 3, how will those rules impact upon the life and / actions of your characters in big and small ways? ? Explain why you've chosen to focus on these 3 particular aspects of the world. What generic features or generic features are you drawing upon? Inverting or subverting or enforcing with the rules, and why? Response of roughly 500 words. These 3 rules are a big part of life within this story. The main character, Delta Stronghold. What a freaking name! I remember her name being Delta. I didn't know that was her last name. Okay, struggles to find her place in her home planet, Otheria. Or at least that's how I'm pronouncing it. She is caught between doing what she is born to do, becoming a commander, and what she knows is wrong, discriminating against the Reds. Delta was born into a family of Silvers and doesn't face or know the brutality that the Silvers hold against the Reds. On Etheria, citizens of certain blood type, Red, are not accepted as equals to the dominant and rare blood types, which are the Silvers. Which it should be like there are like not that many. There's more Reds than Silvers in this world. But people are just assholes. And so, yeah, let's just keep going. The Reds have not... Oh, God. Whew, I need to take a breath. The Reds have been looked down upon by the Silvers for as long as anyone on the planet can remember. This, despite of the Reds, has led to countless wars on the planet between the 2 bloodlines, and several Red Rebel groups, God, that is a mouthful, have popped up from time to time to try and cause damage to the hierarchy that the Silvers hold over them. The death penalty. Note to self, what happens if a Silver helps a Red? I think this is not the final draft of my assignment. After seeing countless tragic news stories about police brutality, this is me just in response, in the United States attacking African Americans for no good reason, I knew that I wanted to write about something to do with this very serious topic in a way that wasn't about the color of people's skin, but what was on the inside. So I think this was the time where we were getting we don't get every single American shooting story on the news here, but we get the really big ones. And I think a lot of those were happening in the year that I wrote this, and I was just so fucked up, so I'm gonna write something that's kind of like that, but from a completely different perspective. It's so sad. I don't know what would make anyone want to write that, but apparently I did. Okay. 4. Start writing by Number 4. Start writing by positioning your character operating within her, his, its world. Give us the first 500 to 750 words of the story, demonstrating the application of the rules to your character and their life. So I had the characters. They have very cool names. Delta, she's the main character. Then we have Artemis, called Artie, and then Cosima, Cos. This is really not good. That's very 100-y right there. Why did I do that? And then Officer Nova, communications officer aboard the Valkyrie. And then we have the battleship names. So the Valkyrie is Del's, and the Kraken is Artie's ship. I think this is from Delta's perspective. I'm not sure. And I apologize for the horrific retelling of my story that you're about to hear. But anyway, this should be fun, right? I'm on the upper deck of the Valkyrie, slowly gliding through the cosmos that surrounds us. I stare out the large viewport at the ocean of stars before me. I sigh and look at, oh my God, and look to my shoulder where there are 5 lines marked on my uniform, the symbol for a commander. It's not that upsets me. It's the reason why and how I got the promotion. The promotion did. God, that's not English there. I never would have imagined things were going to turn out the way that they did. Seemed like only yesterday that Artie, Cos, and I were going to the Battlestar Academy, and now things couldn't be more different. I'm interrupted by my thoughts by the familiar beeping of the ship's intercom. Beep boop up, beep boop up. That's so fucking lame. Anyway, it repeats until it's answered. I remain seated in the commander's chair. Commander Delta, incoming transmission from the Battlestar Destroyer. The voice of the ship's communication officer, Nova, says. I continue to stare out the window. Space was so empty. Maybe this was the perfect place for me. Maybe emptiness is what I deserved after everything I had done. Nova's voice cuts back in. Commander, the destroyer is wishing to connect. I rub the end of my chin, followed by rubbing the sleep out of my eyes. I repeat, Commander Delta, should I connect the Commander Saros of the battleship destroyer? Nova is new. She doesn't understand what I've been through. Nova is meant to be like an AI at this point. Like not a person. I think the previous, in my mind, the previous AI was, knew about what had happened before. I forgot where I was. I take a deep breath, leaning forward, looking at the glass at my reflection. I stand and straighten up my pristine uniform against... Oh, God. Before striding towards Nova, I place my fingertips onto the communication desk. Tell Commander Cyrus, I sneer, that I'd rather jump out into space than connect with him. Commander Delta, should I really tell him that? Nova questions, staring up at me. I swear that Nova was an AI. Maybe it's a person. I don't know. I roll my eyes and take my hands off from the desk, walking away to return to my chair. Commander Cyrus, he heard what you said, Commander Delta. Nova stutters, fiddling with a few switches and knobs on the transmission desk. I turn back to Nova, and I raise an eyebrow. And he says that you can do that, but if you do, then you won't know about how the Kraken battleship has been spotted in the Gamma section. This is prior to the story. This is so fucking lame, but I'm kind of enjoying it. My eyes widen, pressing my lips together and then mumbling out the words, Artemis? Artie? Should I make the connection, Commander? No, I smirk. I turn to my engine master. Phoenix! See, these names. Could you please get us to the Gamma sector? Right away, Commander, he smirked, and then flicked a switch on his dashboard. The Valkyrie's engine revved and blasted off into the direction of the Kraken, in the direction of Artie. Okay, I thought... yeah, okay, let's keep going. This is prior. This is before the tragedy of everything. I won't give away. I obviously know the story, but there's a bit of a plot twist in this. It was our first day aboard the Taurus. These names. The Academy's training battleship. We wore dark green back then, marking us commanders in training. The newbies to the Academy always wore white, as if they were so pure. Artemis and Cosima were my bunkmates. They had us all of us? They had grouped all of us in three, is what I think it's meant to say. After all this training, we were going on... God, we're going to be going into a fleet together. God. Could I say it in more of a controversial way? Probably. Artie, Cos, and I were in awe of travelling around the rings of Saturn. We pressed our hands up against the glass as if we were at an aquarium. We aren't here to be stargazing, girls, our professor and commander of the battleship told us as we quickly fell back in line. Commander, insert name here. I obviously didn't have a name for him. Began telling the newbies that the hardest thing to do was to learn how to avoid obstacles in space, though we would all soon realize that the Saturn's rings were the least of our problems and wouldn't be the hardest thing that we had to do that day. The attack on the Taurus happened faster than any of us expected. We had been watched and stalked like prey. The great battleship was quickly boarded by the Red Rebels. They were shooting at anything that moved. Only an idiot would fire a gun in space. So many people fell to the floor of the Taurus, their eyes hauntingly stayed open. I stared into the eyes of my superior officer, who was in command now. I directed the very few of us that escaped the massacre to the armory. We grabbed what we grab what we can. One of the newbies goes to grab a gun. I shove him a little bit too hard. He falls to the ground, pushing the gun back into its place on the wall. I ask, "Are you fucking stupid?" The young boy didn't say anything. I force a baton into his hand and move on, taking a taser gun from the shelf. Everyone is looking to me, even Artie and Cos, as if I know what we are supposed to do. Artie and Cos look at me, not sure what to do. I pace around, hearing gunfire from the deck above ours. I look around the armory. Scared young faces look up at me. "The Taurus is a Class 3 battleship," I smirked. Artie smiled and then started laughing. "What does that mean?" asked a newbie. "It's one ship when we're all together, but it can break up in smaller ships," Artie stated. God, this is some Ex Machina shit here. Meaning that if we get to the part of the ship, if we get to a part where the ship breaks into a new one, we can escape back to the academy, Cos says, placing a comforting hand onto the younger boy's shoulder. We access a holograph of the ship from the computer in the armory. God. I have to laugh at somehow, like how dumb some of this shit is. Anyway, it's not far, 200 meters, give or take. Let's hope that we can let's hope they have started the breakaway sequence. Let's hope they haven't started the breakaway sequence yet. God, some of this is really bad. I stated, looking back at the group. Then let's not waste any more time, Artie said, swinging around her baton. What? I don't know why they have batons. God forbid they have guns in space. But I understand, like, the logic, but also, like, yeah. Anyway, the small group of us slowly make our way towards, out of the armory. Artie, Cos, and I are up the front, leading the group, and the other 3 commanders in training are bringing up the rear. Gunfire comes from all around, mainly from the upper decks. I pray to whatever gods are listening that they don't find us, and that we can all get home. Suddenly there is shooting coming from behind us. I dive forward, trying to avoid any bullets, but I get hit in the thigh. I scream out in pain. Cos comes to my side to put pressure on my leg, but then more gunfire rains down on us. Cos gets hit right in the middle of her stomach. She looks down and then back up at me before falling beside me. I struggle, but manage to flip her over. Blood is dripping from her mouth, and her hands are blood soaked. But the blood that is coming out of Cos isn't silver, it's red. So Cos was lying about herself the entire time. Cos starts shaking. Tears come from my eyes. It's okay, I stroked her forehead. You're gonna be fine, I sniffed. I pull myself up, almost vomiting from the excruciating pain coming from my leg. Struggling, I managed to lift Cosima up and put her arm over my shoulder, pulling her into the safety of the ship that is sealing, I think is what that's meant to be, itself off from the other part of the Taurus that is currently under attack. I fall to the floor. Help! Help! We need help! I called out. A few people are coming running to my aid. They have a stretcher and they gently place Cos onto it. They are applying pressure and I lean against the wall holding my leg, but then they stop. They push Cosima violently off the stretcher. She screams. I'm in shock as they pull me onto it. No! Help her! I stuttered. Do you know what she is? Snapped one of the medics. You have to help her, please, I beg, starting to sob. The medics are fussing over my leg. Please, no! I try pushing them away. Help her! Help her, I pled. The medics ignore me and proceed to strap me to the stretcher. I kick and move into one until one woman looks me dead in the eyes. We don't have to help her. And by law, we shouldn't even be helping you. Consider yourself lucky, the woman spat. With tears in her eyes, I looked to Cosima. She stopped moving, her brown eyes looking right into mine. The medics team lift the stretcher on the count of 3, one member sticking a syringe into my leg. I wince. Please, no! Help her! My eyes close. My mouth is still mumbling words. When I wake, I'm in a small room. I'm back at the academy. I push myself to sit up. It hurts, everything. It hurts. It hurts, everything? I don't think there's meant to be a comma there, but whatever. Across from me is Artie. She's sitting in the darkness. I look to the other side of the room. All of Cosima's stuff is packed up, as if she was never there. Who knew? Artie mumbled. I tried to stand, but it's too much. I remain seated in my bed. I pull the covers down to see a metal leg. I guess they couldn't save it. And you wanted to save her. Are you mad? Artie suddenly snapped, jumping across the room. We were face to face, glaring at each other. Artie is the one that breaks the silence. You lost that for her, and I'm surprised you didn't lose more for that piece of trash red. But no, the princess of the academy doesn't get punished. She gets rewarded. What's happened? I tried to stand again, this time managing a few more steps. You've been promoted. What? That doesn't even make sense. I tried to save her. I sniffed, remembering all too well what they had done to my friend. Tell me about it. I'm the one that saved 10 silvers. You, Delta, you're just a traitor. Artemis sneered, and then left the room. There is some more. That's kind of like it. I'm not sure what this is. Note to self, in the beginning, make it out like Delta is running away from the Kraken, Artemis's ship, and she has joined the Red Rebels after what they have done to Cosima. So, oh, wait. This was like the practice. This is the legit story here. This is the actual story here. That one is dumb. This is the better one. But, basically, it was kind of been like they were friends at the academy for so long, but neither one of them knew that she was not who she said she was. And at the beginning, it's meant to be like, you don't know, but Delta has joined the Red Rebels in what has happened to her friend. She's like, I couldn't care less about being a freaking commander in like a Battlestar Academy. And Artemis is just like, well, I saved so many of my own kind, and you could, like, all you care about is your, like, the person who was our friend but isn't anymore because we know where she came from, which I'm like, fuck that shit. It's so messed up. That's why I write characters like Delta and characters like Artemis. Like, you have to have a bad villain, like a horrible villain, which is why I love writing villains so much. But yeah, that's that's my story. I think this is the better bit here, but there you go. That's me. That's just like raw and real. But damn, that's so messed up. I remember it. Mainly because it's so much like the 100 and like, you know, commanders have special blood. And you can only be a commander if you got this. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today, guys. Let me know if you want to hear more of my stories. I'm probably going to do it anyway. But let me know if you want to hear more of my stories down in the comments. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, subscribe, because there's always nice, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.